Good morning to all of you. Thank you, Director, for availing your time to join us this morning. This morning, oversight hearing is for your Department of Youth and Civic Affairs, and our Committee, Government Health and Welfare, will be conducting this oversight hearing this morning. With us this morning, we have the Speaker, the Vice Speaker, Floor Leader, the Chairman of Red Committee, and our Legal Counsel. The committee will not put you under oath. The purpose of the oversight is to gather facts. It's more of an investigative process. But we thought that we will not be putting you under oath because we all swore an oath before we took office. So the dialogue and the discussion that will be going around the room, I hope it will be of mutual interest, and we're going to be truthful to one another. Thank you, and I thank all your staff for being here with us, and I hope our office is not abandoned. Okay, so that's good to hear. So let me give you the floor for your opening remark before I turn it over to the members, the Speaker, and the officers of the Legislature, if they have anything, before we dive into the Q&A component of our oversight this morning. Thank you, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chairman. Good morning. My humble respects to the esteemed body here at Legislature, Speaker, Vice Speaker, Floor Leader, both Chairman, Red, and GHW. I want to thank you for taking the time to call this oversight. I think it's well overdue. I did request that we do an oversight a few months ago when I saw that we had some things that maybe we can come to the table as CFPs and we discuss and openly. So I'm thankful for this oversight, and I'm looking forward to, like you said, we're gonna have truthful conversations and to find common ground for the betterment of our people and service to our people, and see how we can improve. Because I'm always open to be flexible to working with all of us here. This is not about me as a person. This is about the department. This is about our government, and this is about our people. So thank you so much, and I'm ready for this hot seat, and I'm ready to be corrected. Thank you. Thank you for having me. And again, my respects to you, and peace be the journey.
Moderator, Speaker, you have anything? The floor is.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. If we give Director an opportunity to introduce, and because we seem to be working in one government, but not so many of us know each other and what role are we playing. So if you could do that with your consent, Chairman.
Speaker.
Thank you, Speaker. If I may turn it over to the Chief of Youth Services to introduce everybody, if that's okay, please. Thank you. Thank you, Chief.
Kumwara, Director. Thank you, Chairman and Speaker, Vice Speaker, Floor Leader. We have with our team today, starting from, maybe I'll start from our table here. This is Slate Lina. She's our Youth Awareness Officer with the Division of Youth Services. And then next to her is Maverick. He's our Sports and Recreational Coordinator, Youth Sports and Recreational Coordinator. Then I'll go back to the end of the chair at the back, we have Nami. Nami is our public information officer, and she works directly under the administration, under director. And we have Dwayne, who's our works at HPO. Dwayne, you're with. Can you share your title? So registration coordinator. And then next to Dwayne is Jemina, who works at the media, and she translates our news and does all the spots. We have next to Jemina is Freya, who's AVI, Australian volunteer, who has joined the Division of Youth Services. And unfortunately, her contract will be over soon, but she's been really helpful with the division. Next to Freya is Kenta Otsubu-san, who joined same Division of Youth Services from JICA. He's a JICA volunteer. Next to Ken is Lamed. She's our AA assistant, administrative assistant at media. And next to Lamed is Lucro, who's also our one of our guys at media that translates news and information announcements. To my left is our administrative officer, Greb, and uh, and to my right is our gender support officer, Jessica. Uh, Next to Jess is Des Grafle, who's acting right now, acting as a media chief. And next to Grafle is Izan, who's our chief technical technician at media. And we have Al, who's with HPO. Sir Al, what's your position? Registration, but acting chief for acting officer for HPO. And of course, we have Everlino, who's our Outer Island Youth Coordinator. And Lucy, who's our uh, editor. Lucy is our editor at media. And I think that's it for everybody that came from the department.
Komorwa. Uh, Members, do you have anybody have anything before we go into the Q&A? Okay. Okay. Here's how we're gonna go through the this oversight hearing this morning. We're gonna start off with basic AI, then we move down to admin, then youth service, gender support, and if any members have other question regards to different activities or certain component of the department, they can also give their opinion and questions regarding the what they have in mind. So let's start off with the radio station. The committee wanted to know the status of the AM. At the moment, FM is in operational, but the range is very short. And I wonder where are we on that on AM? Last year, last FY 25, the total budget is 85,320, and yet it's still off air.
Thank you, Chairman. I'll start and then I'll have our technician also talk about it. Uh, the I want to start with our budget. When I came here for the budget hearing, we had and I'm not trying to throw anybody on the bus, but we had some issues with our budget. The budget that I submitted for EBRC's review was not the budget that was submitted to legislature. That's the first issue. Second issue, when the EVRC was meeting to review the budget, I was not invited. It was the last time that it was the EVRC commenced was during YAP Day, and that's when the state had me looking for the governor, the former late governor, to see if he's going to deliver speeches. So by the time I got back, I found out that the EVRC meeting has already happened. So the budget that I requested, that we put together, was not the one that was submitted to legislature for consideration. Rather, it was a copy and paste, almost. Uh, the AM, I wanted to kindly remind us that when I came into office, the AM was down for 4 years. Uh, but in the same year, uh, the national government funded me to go to Pohnpei for a sports event. And then that's when I went, and I had brought this to. If we can look at the past recordings of hearings, I secured a grant when I went to the sports event. I used the national government's money. I went there. I self-invited myself to that meeting. I was not invited to that DECA meeting. The then director of OPB was supposed to be there, but he took off and went to Pohnpei. So I was the one that went and self-invited myself to that meeting. I I was stalking the one of the lead coordinators for SPC, found his hotel and waited in the lobby for him to go walking in the morning at 6 a.m. And that's when I met Mr. Herman, who helped me to start the process of securing the grant for the AM to be for a brand new AM. However, we've been having some delays with that. That this year we had a recent power outage, and it ruined the AM. I even took the part to Guam to get it fixed, but they said they can fix it at the offices in Guam. But as of right now, the SPC have already procured the AM transmitter. It's in Canada. We're just waiting for shipment because they cannot find a shipment route. We have a meeting, I believe, next week, which 23rd, which we're going to be discussing about it. The FM transmitter, we have quotations for the FM transmitter because we do understand that we have blind spots. So we do have information regarding FM transmitter, which we wanted to do the supplemental on, but we were told we can't do it until March of next year. That's my understanding from OPB. So that's where we're at with this. We're just waiting for the shipment route to be for Nautel. Nautel is the company that we're working for, and SPC was the provider of the grant. But I'll let our chief technician go more in depth. He has more understanding. Please.
Thank you, Chairman. Sure. For the AM transmitter, now we're working with SPC. Thanks to SPC for the grant and our director. Now we're going to be purchasing a new transmitter. The one that we have, we've been burned down. The first time it burned down is in 2020, caused by a lightning strike to our tower due to the debris of the old supply. When they demolished the building, they took all the debris and put it in the field of our antenna and destroyed the grounding system. So it affected the grounding system of our tower. So when during the lightning strike, it burned everything, the transmitter itself. So we tried to revive it, and then due to the limited parts that we have, the spare parts, we managed to put it back up. And then for a short while, due to the grounding system of our tower, there's a power fluctuation on the island. It's also burned the last part that we have and to the other components of the transmitter. That's why we looked into buying a new transmitter due to limited funding, thanks to SPC that provided. So as of now, we're waiting for SPC due to a procurement area of component of our project. It is purchased. We're waiting for the shipping. route because they're looking for a cheaper and faster shipping because we have a timeline to go through. Hopefully next year, end of March, the new AM transmitter is operational on air. So, so now we're working with SPC, trying to find a way, the possible way, the fastest way to have the transmitter in, so we can start the installation. So that's what where we are on the AM. Thank you.
Kumar. And thank you, Director. You know, as I look over the department budget, the your actual budget that you submit to EBRC is around 1 million, 1 point some million. Then they trim it down to 500,000, which based on your statement, you were uh, not in the loop of discussion, but yet your signature is on the final product. So I wonder whether you really have a thorough review before you sign, or they just hand you over the signature page for your endorsement. But that's that. Um, Now, with the expected arrival of the equipment in March, does SPC also provide the technical support in terms of installation, training, and maintenance? Is that part of the package?
Thank you, Chairman. If I may address your first statement regarding my signature. Uh, when I signed the EBRC report, I have to also, for the record, the director of DY&CA was never part of EBRC until I talked to the governor as to why the director of DY&CA was never part of EBRC, and then so he changed the executive order, so I became part of the EBRC. Apparently, it doesn't make a lot of people happy when we do new things, which I understand. So I did sign it because I don't want to be that director to slow down everyone's budget and force everyone to come back to the table to review my budget. So I settled with the negotiation that I will do a supplemental for my budget. So that's why I signed it, because I don't want to be the heckler to everyone's budget, and to be considered so that the whole government or the executive branch can run. To your second point, the the grant was 155,000. Another state was about to realize that grant, and under the grant, I believe our purchase price is almost 100,000 for the new transmitter, and then the remaining balance will be they will provide a technician to come and help us to install. There's also travel and training under that same budget. Now, do can I promise that that's what SPC will deliver? I cannot, but that is what we discussed during our meetings. That they're going to ship everything into YAP, provide a technician to assist us in installation, as well as training for maintenance. So yes, that's if that answers your question, Chairman.
Okay. Come on, Director, for the information. Members, go ahead, Speaker.
Just question on the on the grant. Yeah, we understand that some of this confusion boil out because of the fact that each department may want to apply for a grant, which is very good. And the grant, if it specifically come in for a specific, we don't have to, it doesn't have to route it through to appropriate it here at the legislature. So I guess the two grants that the director just mentioned, that's what happened. Is that correct, Elsie? If because we're one government and we're not stopping anybody to apply for a grant because we need money to be able to have what we need to provide the service that we as government mandate to provide. But at the same time, transparency is something that is very important to be to have in a system like our government. So that's one issue here, and I just bring that up because we know that we appropriate money for a certain thing, and each department applying for a different grant. And if that grant specifically mention the need in which the department apply for, it doesn't have to come through us. But this is what some of the confusion uh, uh, comes up, because we should know what is happening, because otherwise you're going to be applying for the same amount of money, and we have a very meager resources at the state. So with that, I just want to bring this up. So we all know. Thank you.
Kumar Speaker, do you want to respond to Speaker's comment? Go ahead, Director.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My apologies if my actions created confusion, but I just wanted to clarify that the grant that I got, that I applied for to get this transmitter, I did not also supplement or request it through our legislature and general fund. So again, the grant that we secured the transmitter with is from SPC, and I did not double dip to where I asked for money from general fund to purchase the same transmitter. So I did not ask money from the general fund. This money is strictly coming from SPC, so it's no double dipping. So I'm sorry for the confusion, but I did make it for I did state it for the record during my first public hearing for our budget hearing last year when we came. I did mention that. So I'm sorry for the confusion.
Chairman Mafat, go ahead.
Comrade Chairman. I understand that part, and that's good. Just that it's always good to keep the appropriations people in the loop in case in the future there's some shortfall or something that we will need assistance with. We know what's been happening previous, so that we're especially GHW, so that we can always assist without too many questions. What's been happening? How come we didn't know about that? That's always a courtesy for everybody. We're not trying to overreach and micromanage everything, but that's always good practice. Chairman, if with your forbearance, I just wanted to talk about, since we were talking about the operation for the media, the radio station, I want to talk about the content, the programming that we have. I noticed that in recent weeks, as I'm traveling in the car and I turn on the radio, I want to, because we currently, as part of the DOD, the UMO task force, we have two positions that we're advertising for, the coordinator and the AO for, and I always turn on the radio to see if that's being announced so that we can hopefully get some people and we can start looking at applicants for those positions. But every time I turn it on, whether it's in the morning coming to work or lunchtime or afternoon going home, it's usually I catch some kind of inspirational, motivational speeches like TED Talks from YouTube or something like this. That seems to be the what's always filling those time slots. But that's usually when you have a lot of people who are in the car, and if they want to find out what's going on with what's current or news or things like this, announcements, that's usually the time that they tune in. So that's something I noticed with that. There's morning lunch and the rush hour at 4:30. That I see we have a lot of TED Talks type of messaging going on, the conceive, believe, achieve type of messaging, which is good. But it seems to be every day this happens. When I called to the radio station to inquire about those announcements, the person on wasn't quite sure. But even asking about things like the island chat, they said that it's discontinued as part of our programming. which I thought was a great way for with Martina's help that when somebody is coming on island to do something new or what have you, they usually go to that program and share with the public what's happening. And so I heard that that's discontinued. And with your forbearance, Chairman, going to our online presence, the presence of the state online, the YapGov website, we have press releases which reflects all of us in the government. And I notice, I don't know if it's the editing or what have you, and we're using AI as an assistance for a lot of this. But there's been people who in the public sphere, our citizens who notice these things and bring it to my attention as one of our elected officials to, hey, what's going on here? And it's quite embarrassing to have the GTWA, the Giltamil Water Authority, be referenced in a YAP Gov press release as the Guam Territorial Water Authority. Well, I'm assuming that's an AI mistake and we didn't catch it before it was released. And also, we're Ngoch with all the work that's being done there for the sewage plant, so the treatment. Then there was a reference to the Ngoch community. As of right now, I don't think anybody lives in Ngoch and would want to live in Ngoch. So these kinds of things are a reflection on all of us when we have these kinds of things out in the public sphere for people to digest and see how the government is doing. So I wish we had better tabs or whoever is in control of those to keep track of these kinds of little errors, but they're quite significant because we're not part of Guam. Sorry, but we're not part of Guam. And as far as I know, nobody would want to live by the sewage treatment plant. So these are some of the errors that I noticed, and it's the public who bring these out to me, and it gets quite annoying, obviously. So this is just regarding the content and the supervision to see that what we put out is is accurate information. A while back, we had one where I had to call the Department of the Division of Agriculture and talk to the person who would know about little fire ants because the information going out was saying that little fire ants can be, gotten rid of by peanut butter, by using peanut butter to get rid of them. That's not true. That's what you use as bait to see if you have little fire ants. So whoever interviewed the experts put down the inaccurate information and gave it out to the public. And this is something that, it's quite serious, little fire ants for younger people and older people. Just some comments. I don't know if it's necessary to have some reply back because these are things that I hope as we move forward as a state, we're all one, that there's not just one person doing that, but there's somebody over them to also watch that what's going out is good, has accurate information, and it's relevant information, what the public needs to hear. So, Kumbat Chairman.
Come on, Chairman Mafal. You want to respond to Mafal's inquiries? Go ahead, Director.
Thank you, Chairman Mafal. I thank you. I have heard a lot of concerns from you regarding this, and if you may, I'd like to not refute, but to answer back. The Best of You show. I think you probably only listen to the radio in the morning and the afternoon because it's only like a 25-minute show. It's about positive things, and maybe if we don't like it, we can take it off. That's why we're here to discuss. Uh, Before we start new shows, we actually put it out to the public that if they have any complaints, anything that they want to share, that they call us and they let us know. They give us their feedbacks, and since we started that, we've only had positive feedbacks. The only two phone calls we received was from Mafal and Thinifel, which pun intended. I thought it was all good, but those are the only two phone calls that I got, and the media team is here. They if they have anyone else, Luis, any other phone calls? So everybody seems to enjoy it, but we can take it off if the positive messages is a negative information to our public, we can take that off. Regarding the coconut chat, um, after, I mean, island chat, sorry. After it was, after they moved out of the media building, I'm not sure the arrangements. When I came into office, there were junk vehicles parked all around the media building. You had to get all that out, and then there was a cancer program inside media, which I thought was kind of funny. You have a radio station and then the cancer program, funded externally, but the state government was paying for it. So I kindly asked that they find a new place to move. So when they moved out, they also I understood that they took their show with them. And also, one of the last communications I had with them is they wanted to do a island chat on the military developments. And at that time, I thought I made the best executive decision that before we have the OCL and the agreement signed, that there should not be any talks because I know that there's a lot of confusions with all that. So what happened is the military came and it was a rank of O3. We're dealing with high-ranking DoD admirals who know more of the concept, but we have a captain O3 who's kind of like an entry-level officer to talk about the project that he doesn't even know what we discussed at JCM in Guam. So for him to come and talk about the projects, I thought I made an executive decision that it's way beyond his league to talk about it. We haven't even signed the OCL. We don't know what we're going to agree on. So for them to do the coconut chat, and that was the last, island chat, rather. So that was the last communication. And then when they moved out of the media, the island chat went with him. So that's that with the island chat. The GTWA, the Guam Territorial Water Authority. My apologies, and I apologize on behalf of our staff. We do make quite a bit of mistakes, but we also on the next day we make corrections when we find these. Uh, I'd like to bring two important issues to the good body here at Legislature. Uh, Kindly, I'd like to remind all of us that even multi-million dollar companies like CNN, Fox News, Economist, New York Post, New York Times, all of these multi-million dollar news organizations whose journalists make six figures, they also make mistakes. Even a few months ago, there was one about a high-profile government employee in the United States that died. It's fake, and they make all these types of misinformation. I can tell you though that though we are responsible, and I take full responsibility as the director, these young folks they're doing their best. All of our PIOs have been in their 20s, early 20s, no college education. So if people with PhD in journalism are making mistakes on CNN, Fox News, our high school graduates, including myself, I have a master's degree, but I write and I make mistakes sometimes. So kindly, I ask for your pardon and understanding that we're trying something new. Before that, we didn't even have press releases every day. Even the national government, the other embassies, they've directly reached out to me and said that we're the only state that does daily press releases and try to keep up with our local news. So that's our efforts, and I hope that the good body here at Legislature appreciates our efforts and things that we've never done before. Uh, and I also the second part is the PAO salary. It's the same as my secretary, and nothing to my secretary and my public information officer. But we cannot expect $1 million work ethic from a $10,000 salary, and that let's just be honest with that. Like the webmaster, I know the good chairman with the red committee, Mafal, was complaining about our webmaster. Uh, the website now that we have, the main website, and the mobile, we also have one on the mobile. I was the one that created that. It's just because I have a marketing company, so I know how to create websites. We have not been able to fill that position because it's a battle to hire somebody with our good office at personnel. There's all these qualifications. You need a master's degree or a bachelor's degree. You need all this. I was only able to hire one webmaster. Uh, they weren't able to furnish their transcript from Guam as a IT guy, so he left as well because personnel didn't want to pay him. And now the salary for the webmaster was at 13,000, but then after this year's budget, it was cut to be the same as my my secretary. So I'm not sure how I'm able to hire an IT or webmaster with a secretariat level salary. So all this right here, we've been doing it. I know that we've made a lot of mistakes, and I don't have time to do my work and go in. But I do. I built this website at home during my personal time. So as of right now, we don't have a webmaster. We only have a PIO. So uh, thank you so much for your concerns, but I also beg for your understanding and kind consideration. Thank you so much.
Kumbaga, Director, uh, let me go back to the grant. Um, there are there, two entities who are currently on the ground, organization working to address um, disaster response, and that is the IOM and CRS. The 6 years ago, IOM did um, manage to secure a grant to improve the B6AI facility, most especially the soundproofing and patching up the roof. Uh, I wonder whether your department is engaging with these two entities to look for other uh, source of funding to improve the communication capability of the state. When you look at the emergency response plan for the state, V6AI, the radio station, play a vital role. And these two entities are here, funded through UN and US to improve the preparedness effort of the state. And if we talked about preparedness and our radio station is down, there is a problem. There's no need for these two entities to be here to talk about food security, water security, livelihood of the people, and yet the very vital component of communication is not in full operational. We are, we're lying to ourselves. So I wonder what's the level of engagement that the department is doing with these two entities that are on the ground to seek additional assistance to improve the radio station.
I thank you, Chairman. The one of the only funding that I know that we were able to secure, aside from the one that I'm talking about, is the DOD. I believe they worked with IOM. I have to go in and reread the documents, but they were able to renovate the media building downstairs. Upstairs is a tricky situation. My understanding is there was funding to fund the upstairs, and then before me, I guess the director or someone else took the funding and built the volleyball court at sport complex. If I'm understanding that right, but somebody did tell me that from a credible position, because I didn't know what happened to that, and hence that's why that upstairs remained incomplete, and that's why it looks like that today. No windows and no doors. No, so I have not sought any type of grant to for a transmitter or to improve communication. Only the one that from SPC that I'm hoping we can get our transmitter sent before March. We're only waiting for a route because we procured the transmitter. They just need to find a carrier that can carry from Canada to Yap, and that's the only issue that we're having right now. I don't know if that answers your question, Chairman.
Kumka. Uh, these are information that I'm sharing with the department, with the intention of hopefully the discussion and the dialogue between DY&CA, OPB, and IOM CRS can uh, start somewhere to also look for additional funding. CRS has been funding beautification program for Chuk State, most especially the recycling program, and the concept originate from YAP. And just last year, CRS have funded two state recycling program. They're now moving to Pohnpei to look at renewable usage of plastic. So these are some of the things that I believe these organizations who are here can assist with. Because I've been engaging with them and there's no request from the government. And they're partnering with the government, but the government is not engaging with them. So I think it's a window of opportunity to also look into. Now, let me take us back to the process. If you can walk us through the process of how announcement is being handled and being sent to V6AI for to be aired. Uh, some of the concern that I usually receive from uh, our constituent is the fact that there is a requirement when it comes to land survey. Uh, there's a 30 days for the announcement to be aired or 60 days. There's 60 before a land resource can do uh, their job. So when people file those requests to have their land uh, be, flagged, reflagged, or scope, or certified to get the land certification, uh, they were informed to wait for V6AI to announce for a certain number of days, and then their process can start. Now, that 60 days or 30 days period, sometimes it goes beyond to 90 days. And that's when the commotion and the complaints start coming in. So I want you to run us through how this announcement gets to your desk and how do you process it all the way. Because sometimes there was one that it took 90 days for land resource to be able to do their job because of the delay, according to the information that I have. And I have done my fact findings. So these are not hearsay. These are facts that the committee have gathered. So I really wanted to know how you process all of this. How long does it sit? Uh, what's the process that it goes through? And how long do you air it?
Thank you, Chairman. The usually, if there's issues, the director would come and talk to me. So I'm surprised why they wouldn't come, or the chief of land resource calls me directly. So I'm not sure of that. If you can provide that information, I can dig further into it and bring you more details. Uh, I can tell you, however, that the process used to be, before I came in, that all the announcements go to media without the screening from the director. But now when I came in, because there were information that was sent out that I believe needs to be screened, uh, I also, some of the practices that I've implemented was, when it has to do with state matters, we don't just put it on the radio. I give it to the governor. So things less than the state matters, I can approve it myself. But anything that has to do with the state, I believe that governor is the elected official and not me. So he should be the one to approve it. So like stuff with the DOD, has to do with DOD matters. All those things, I send it for the governor's review before I put it on air. But the process is pretty much streamlined in a way that the announcement is sent to my AO. She gives it to me. I usually sign all of it at the end of the day. Sometimes I can't lie. I won't lie. Sometimes they're late. I sign it like a few days late, but never a week late. I don't think. However, there are announcements that I have to be honest. Uh, the date that the, let's say, health wants to do an announcement, right? And they want it out on, they want it to be put out for, say, a week. But then, so if they want it out for that week and they're supposed to send it to us Monday, so we have that week, they don't send it to us on Monday. They send it to us on Wednesday. Now we only have one day for me to sign and then to send it to media to have them recorded and then to be played on the same day. And then they call and then they they're disappointed because we cannot process their late email. And we can go back and review some of those dates, and we can provide it to you. That sometimes they want us to let's say announce something for a month, but we don't get it until 2 weeks into the month. So those things happen, and not shifting blame here, but just some of the things that we can go back into the computer and see. Once I sign the those announcements, it goes to, I give it back to her. She scans it, sends it to media where there's a log, and then they log it. And then if it's three times a day, then they put it on the. I can let the media guys go over it, but it's morning, noon, and evening. So that's kind of like the process. Now I can't lie. There are times that I have reprimanded people because I sent announcements and it does not get recorded, and that's the human factor in working with people. There are some announcements that I don't know if they miss, so I have to do it. But I do my best. Believe it or not, every time I get into my vehicle, I don't listen to anything by the radio. So I try to keep tabs, and we have a 15-minute thing. You, if I counted the times I called the media and I said, "Can you please, guys, get on every 15 minutes and say hi to the state?" I think it's more than 10,765 times I've called up there. So we're I do put in my effort even on the weekends, and I think they're tired of me calling there. So that's the process. Yeah, thank you, Chairman.
Kumar, anybody have a follow-up? Go ahead, Speaker.
Yeah, there was another announcement regarding the election, and it's due October something, but they keep announcing it. Is it because
Still with the wrong
Yes.
election date.
yes,
Still plus the-
yeah, that's something that that needs to be scrutinized and hopefully improved. I like to commend it on the two announcers because they're doing a good job. It's very, yeah, they're doing a good job. I don't understand Ulysses and Julian, but everything is very consistent, and I think it's good. And you have that voice that really energizes people to listen more. So thank you guys, and I like to also thank you, Jeka, and from Japan and from Australia for helping us because we need assistance from you. We're a small island, but hopefully we can make things much better than what it is. So thank you. One thing I like to also mention is the fact that we have appropriate money for project, and it needs to be announced so people would know and they would question us what happened when this project should be completed. And this information is with Public Work, with OPB. And so the government, department of our government should be working together so people would understand what's going on within our small state. So I know you guys are our expert to make sure those things be known to the people of the state. And we have two buildings at the FMI given to us by Japan. The funding came from Japan. There's a sign, but I think it should be also broadcast so people would know in the community that yes, we have these two buildings funded by JCA, and this is what it's for, and this is how much money it's been spent to build these two buildings. I think it is very important, but I would leave it up to you because you're the expert discussing it with other department, and if they say it's not good to broadcast, why? We're here to do things and we make sure that the people know what we are doing as government. And the assistance provided to us by other government. Thank you.
Kumar, Speaker. I guess what the speaker is getting at is the fact that we're getting news and updates from outside of the nation, but we're neglecting what's happening here in YAP, most especially important projects and activity that is going to happen or about to happen or it's ongoing, and our people are not aware of what's happening around them. So I thank you, Speaker, for your comments. Now, let me ask the other question in regards to announcement. How many training have the division of media have done in regards to radio announcer? Is there any training been done when you hire someone? There's a process you go through before you get behind the mic and start uh, doing your thing on the radio, your gig or something.
The answer is yes, but I'll let the media go into it. I also wanted to thank the generous people of Australia who uh, gave us funding to send our announcer, one announcer, and our public information officer to Pohnpei to train with ABC. I believe it's Australian Broadcast Corporation to train with them, and who they actually distinguished YAP as the one that's producing the most content in all of the FSM. So, and that's what the ambassador told me. But media, anybody from media?
Good morning, Chairman. For the process of new hiring, the new hire people when they come in, we have a training for the shift on the radio. So we do a 1 week because we have two shifts, one opening and one closing, the graveyard shift. So we do training for the. This is an in-house training. We're not sending off them to a proper training, but the senior personnel are the ones that conducting the training. So for 1 week for opening and 1 week for closing. And the process through the training is where we see their weaknesses to help them improve in those weaknesses. But we all know that when it comes to shift operation, we cannot keep depending to keep improving because the shift needs to go because we cannot open and then during close we have to close because the person is not learning. So the process is we train them to a level that they can go on air, on the mic, deliver the information to the public. But sometimes, especially we're doing it in three languages. So it's really the process is it takes a while to train people to do that in three languages. So while we're moving on, we're short staff, we're having people in. So we're training them based on the faster the person can deliver. So that's the process of our training at the media. And can I allude to one more? Yeah, this is in regards of the information on the state level. I I've been with the media for so long, and I've been helping out with the information gathering and everything. There's sometimes when we call the relevant offices and department to provide us the information, especially the PIO. They always refer to the next person. We, for us, the level of government-owned operated radio station, we cannot just release information. We need to have information from the right source in order to put on air. So when we call them, they keep jumping all over the personnel from the department. When we call them, sometimes I have to go door by door to get the information so we can put on our TNF. Especially we're talking about projects going on in FMI. We've called for that information, and they keep jumping over people. So we don't want to release information when we're not getting the factual information in. So I think it's good that we all the department can work together to find a solution for that because we've been doing that. Thank you, Chairman.
Kumar, for your statement and feedback on some of the questions that has been posed earlier. Uh, you know, the reason why I ask the question regarding training is, uh, in every society, the the tone of voice is a powerful tool. So even our children, when you raise your voice, they know your math. If you talk to them calmly, they know you're friendly to them and you will give them candy at the end. So that is why I talk about training, because I'm a everyday listener to the radio. And sometimes I hear the tone of voice that I think somebody is pissed off and his or her, she's behind the mic, which is throw some people off, Sometimes it seems like he comes to work feeling pissed. So that's why I talk about training on how do you monitor during broadcasting, and do you do pep talk on side. So that's where my question is coming from, my line of questioning in regards to V6AI radio announcement. Any more question? Go ahead.
Thank you, Chairman. But about the tone of voice, at least for me, when I hear Jemina on the radio, she speaks very lively. So thank you for that. Especially in the Outer Island vernacular. Um, and then to the director, what you said that the ABC said about our radio station having the most content, uh, but yet we're here, meaning we want to do better. So you guys are on the right track. But we want to do better. That's the whole point we're here, I think, pretty much, because we want to do better. Um, and then my main question is, um, we have about a year to go in this administration. Um, what was or at least in this division, physics AI, what was the plan, the goal, and how are you guys obtaining that over the years until now? That's my question, really generally. Thank you.
Thank you, Flor. It's very refreshing to have somebody acknowledge some of the little improvements that we've done. So thank you so much. I think you listened to our Best of You show. Uh, it's a good question they asked yesterday. No, actually Wednesday. Wednesday we had a vision uh, uh, meeting in the morning. I assigned that every year. I task our offices and our divisions to come up with the vision and the plan or the goals for your office and your division. And this year I kind of did it a little. We kind of did it a little different to where every chief and their staff they get together, put together a plan based on the budget. I mean, not based on the budget, but a plan that they have and how they're going to implement it for the next fiscal year. So this past Wednesday, we had one where the youth division and their team they presented to our whole department, and also that's where we got our retreats, our team building fund that was cut this year. These are some of the things that we go over. The HPO went over their goals and their plans. Election is not with us now.
Sorry, Director. No, I'm specifically talking about physics AI in the media. The overall plan and has been what has been done from since when you came to office, onto obtaining that goal that when you got into office? I'm sorry.
Sorry. Thank you. So to focus on media, our goal is to have our radio on the internet. By the time we receive our transmitter, we're going to have online radio. Some of our smaller goals, I don't know, I hope these answer your questions, are to go have the presenters go live every 15 minutes. That's a policy, the directive that I put out every 15 minutes, so that the whole state knows that we're still alive at media. Uh, some of the things that when I came into office that we implemented, we still have challenges. Are I want everything to be, if there was a job that's announced for YCA, that it's announced in Yapese, Outer Island, and English. As to compare in past, those jobs will come on like in Outer Island, and then maybe 30 minutes later, the Yapese, and then maybe an hour later, it'll come in English. But now the rule is Yapese, Outer Island, and English for everything that comes out on the radio. The 15-minute, and we're also planning to that when the AM transmitter gets in, that we streamline both radios. And if everyone agrees, this is something at the state level. So I'd have to talk to the governor. Maybe governor talks to speaker to have one name for our radio. We have KUTE, we have V6AI, and do we have another name? Yeah. And over the years, so I kind of want to have it to where it's just one name for FM and AM, and then because even if we have us AM and FM and we have it separately, when we have hearings like this, the whole state will probably be listening to music instead of listening to important information being put out at legislature. So these are some of the plans. I know that we're still funding TV, but TV is kind of phasing out. So that's part of our plan. I talked about this the last uh, budget hearing, that I tried to open up a few positions to film more short clips to put on social media, because that's where the world is going into. Nobody's really watching TV. I think if we do a survey today, nobody has cable. So I wanted to kind of go into that, but unfortunately, our budget was also cut for that. That was in our over $1 million budget that I requested. So those are some of the plans, and we can send you actually, if you guys can share the slide with floor leader on the vision for media, I think that'll be a good, and you get to see what our plans are. But every year we do a planning. We have a retreat. The retreat helps us to kind of hear from people that are successful on island. We also streamline people, and we have positive feedback. And after that, then we go into this phase where we have a vision for our department, each office, even PIO. She has her presentation that presented to the whole department on how she's going to correct her mistakes and things like that, so we can better the year. So these are some of the things strategies that are, I'm hoping and I'm praying that by God's grace, we can be able to realize our goals. So I hope that answers your question, Floor.
Yeah, so thank you. But so it seems like the overall goal is to get the AM transmitter on, and to be also on the website. Yeah, I mean, at least we can access it on the online. My next question is, how is your team handling that as far as media?
Since we're one big family here, uh, it's challenging because a lot of times the greatest fear to humanity is uncertainty. And that's the proven psychological fear to humanity, is when we're uncertain as to what we're doing. So my greatest challenge as the director is when I'm trying to take our team into a different realm to operate differently, then sometimes they don't. But after a while, we've done this over and over, that it's getting a little bit easier for us to, here's a plan, here's how we're going to get there. And it's easier. It's like when when I wanted when I kindly asked them to do the state funeral and put it online without a webmaster, they kind of thought I was crazy that we're going to make it live during the whole time. So those are some of the challenges. But I think my team now, our team here at DY&CA, your DY&CA team, I think they're doing a lot better in the way that we need to be fluid and be like water to adjust with time and adjust with information. And like today, we have this, and I think it's very helpful for us to know where the legislature is coming from to help us with our budget, because we had a 16% cut, where the only department, I believe, with the highest cut, at least that's my review, we had a 16% cut in our budget. So uh, I uh, I think I'm not the one to answer that, but I just wanted to say that, and I could let anybody hear if what are your challenges, and I even asked them if they wanted me to resign. Maybe because I do hear some rumors floating around of people wanting me to resign or get fired. So I did take a poll with them, secret poll with them, if they will. I'm not doing good. If I need to be replaced, this job is not about me; it's about our people. And unfortunately, unfortunately, the results came to 100%. Nobody wanted me to resign.
Um, I'm sorry. Oh, no. Where I'm trying to get at is, um, um, you're the director. The media has its own chief, has its own staff. How are you delegating to them, and how are they carrying out that work? Because if you look around the room, I mean, really, it seems like everybody's here, but yet you're the only one talking. That's just so. What I'm trying to say is that, how are they doing this as your per your instructions? If that makes sense.
Thank you, Floor. I'm not quite sure if I understand your question. Uh, if the question is why are they here, is I always encourage them to be in the know of what's happening in our state, so that's why they show up.
No, it's not about why they're here. It's about how you're delegating to them to carry out the work.
Can you give like an example, like when I get a task from the governor, how I delegate it to them, or okay? Uh, so let's. What's a great example I can think of?
In this situation, like when we're talking about media, I would think the media people would be the focal people about this, not you, because you oversee. That's my point. So when it deals with media, let the media people say what they're doing from what you direct them to do.
Okay, so I stand corrected. I will. I can step out, or I can. My apologies, but yeah, you have a point.
Let me say, I think what the floor leader is trying to get at is how are you delegating the work and let your technical people uh, take on from your marching order rather than you coming in uh, supervising them all the time. How is that delegation process go through? Because you have a team, you have built up your team. How do you delegate that responsibility? I guess that's what floor leader is.
And if I may add, so for me, the way I see it is, if I'm the overseer of this department, I would have these people do that, these people do that, and then they come report to me and say, "This is what we've done," and then okay, and then we go on. So when we come to this kind of settings, when we ask those questions, you all will be the ones to be talking because you're the ones doing the work and you actually see what it is that has been done. That's where I'm coming from. I'm sorry, maybe my tone is not like Chemina, but I'm still working on that. How to, you know, talk very friendly, but that's really where I'm coming from. How are you trusting your team to do the work?
That one is for me. I How am I trusting my team? Yeah, I trust them to do the work. I don't necessarily have one, like, for example, for protocol, I have everyone in the department to handle it because there's not a lot of people at media. So let's say, like, if there's protocol, we have a team A, team B, team C. Team A is just three people. If there's like just one person come in, we send three people. If there's like a medium-sized delegation coming, we have Team B, which is about six people, and then we have Team C, which is 12 people. And like for APIL, we had 12 people plus more. So
Let me continue. I'm sorry. You're for you, Alex, director. Um, you're very good at trying to get things done. I want that mentality to also carry over to your team, so they also be aggressive like you and getting things done, acquiring things. So those are the things that I think the director should impose on the team to and not for you to be doing everything for them.
Thank you, Flor. And I think the director understand the rationale behind the the questions, uh, which I think uh, 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 the floor is open. Karabako Media. Any more on media? Go ahead, Chairman Mafla.
Congrats, Chairman, and I want to thank our good friends here, the expats from Australia and also especially Japan. I know a couple of last summer we had some of our students, even Floor's child and my own, went on the trip to Japan, the student visit. So thank you for that. And so this is it's kind of off topic a little bit, Chairman. Please give me the forbearance for that. Um, this was I noted as a parent that there were quite a few costs that came with having your child become part of the program, from the uniforms and other additional things. So I know I communicated to the youth services team to perhaps build that into the budget so that next time this should be a reward for the student, but it shouldn't be punishment for the parents to have their child participate in the program. How can you help us just a little bit something on that, Chief, if that's okay? How we're doing with that?
Kumwara, Chairman Mafal. Uh, on that particular issue on the children exchange program, yeah, I do understand, and I think you mentioned it before that on the FY26 budget, maybe we can input some funding to assist the children because the program does not cover everything. It covers some things, but or it covers maybe 90% of the trip, but not everything. For FY25, the time that I think floor leader and yeah, that one was gone. But we did when we were preparing for FY25 budget, we did input some budget in there in anticipating for that trip. However, that one did not go through. Now for FY26, our whole plan is we're gonna come back to you guys because it was not included into the FY26, the one that was approved. So I'm hoping that through supplemental we'll work together because the amount is not as much, but it is crucial to help the parents that are that their kids are being accepted to the program to go to Japan. So yeah, so if you're asking of the plan is there, but we will need your consideration and assistance in uh, in getting some funding for that. I hope I've answered your question. Come on.
Chief, follow up?
Kumar Chairman and Kumar Chief. Yes, it's I mean, I'm sure for us in this last trip, it was a surprise, oh, this cost. But maybe not all parents can afford it in the future. So we don't want, if it's a reward for the kids, we don't want the parents to have to tell their child, I'm sorry, you can't go because we can't afford these things. And I noticed that this also happened before with the close-up program. There was one year while I was still teaching at the high school where I was the chaperone, and it was terrible that there were so many costs that the parents have to foot up front. They don't get their stipend until they get to the States. So there was all these things. So that's why I was worried about this. Kumar. So we will look forward to that. Kumar.
Come on, Chairman. Elsie?
Uh, Thank you, Chairman. Just to clarify, we did receive the request, the budget request for FY26 early on. There was a missing component to that budget. It was not supposed to be submitted in that form. We were supposed to have the line items and we're supposed to have performance. Up until now, we have never received the performance for that budget. So, and I think this now showcases why it's important to have performance be attached to the budget. Thank you.
Thank you, Elsie. Any more on this CI before I move down?
Last one. This will be on this. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Kumar Chairman, I'm sorry, I kind of detoured. This is on the news brief. We have the organization of how the news brief is put out. That last portion, the community message. I know, and a lot of us, I think all of us, most of us know that in the past, the community message has been provided by our revered and respected Chief Justice of the State Court. But I noticed the tone has changed recently. It's not the Chief Justice, who's a man who's been a public servant for the state for so long and who also has the educational background to where his opinion on things happening in our community is relevant to most of us. And the tone that he puts it in is in a Yapese way, even though he's using English. That it's very appreciative by those of us who read it and then translate it mentally to see what he means in Yapese. What's happened, if I may be so bold as to ask, why is he not doing it anymore? Can somebody please help with that?
I know that I have heard some concerns that I'll start with the first one that we've edited the Chief Justice message. That's false. We've never edited anyone's statement. there was one community message, and I used the same rationale that I told you guys, that I told the esteemed body regarding the DOD developments, that the community message was going against, uh, not going against, but not going in line with the negotiation at that time. So I just decided to hold it off until after the negotiation, then we play it, so that it doesn't paint a different color that that our government is discombobulated, and that was my rationale. So if uh, if that's wrong, I take full responsibility for that. But it's goes the same with the one regarding the captain to come and tell us what they're going to do at the port and the airport, when really I know for a fact that he doesn't know anything that we're discussing at the defense site working group, which I've been working on since I came into office. So that was the rationale behind. But the the community message is still open. Anybody can. As a matter of fact, it's really hard to get people to come. The speaker, vice speaker, anyone can write a community message. But I strongly feel that part of my job is I don't want to create dissension, confusion, or any misleading emotions to our general public. So that we maintain peace. And that's what I feel at the executive level. Thank you.
Comgar Director, any more on DY&CA members? Vice Speaker, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. Salam Kamara. Thank you, everybody, and welcome. I can see more people this time. Only thing that remains the same is you're all still young, but of course I can say that anytime. And I think you defended some of the points really well. And those are things that maybe we should take into consideration when we're thinking about your budget. So we'll keep that in mind. But on the radio program, I think I know you guys already have a handful, so I'm not. But that's something that I've thought of, and I think I did mention this to some of you the other day. That I know that sometimes I've seen it elsewhere. People from the media would go and interview people on the road, just try to intercept them, and ask their opinion and input on things, hot issues in the communities and things of interest that in the communities. And I'm sure people are going to come up with all kinds of answers. But it's good to know what they're thinking, what the public is thinking. Thinking of the government leaders, thinking of the media, thinking of the of anything that may affect their life. It's really part of our responsibility to know what the people think in the community. So that might help and encourage them to be open to share what they have in mind with relevant people, and that's us in the government. And also for us to know how we should consider some of the projects and even us here to how to enact relevant laws and stuff like that. So, but again, that might be too much. You're already you're already doing a lot of things. But the other we're pretty much the same. Plenty mistakes, all same. You're like me, plenty mistakes. The only difference is you're just starting, and I'm expiring. So I'm hopeful that if you come back sometime, maybe 6 months from now, 1 year, we'll hear different stories, better stories, more encouraging stories. I'm looking forward to that. Thank you.
Comgar Speaker, Vice Speaker. Yeah, before I move down to admin, I want to remind us that what we do in the government, providing services, we need to also remind ourselves of the priority of the state. And there's the priority, and each department have their own priority as well. What Speaker and the Vice Speaker talk about is the importance of informing the general public of what's happening around them. And one of the priority of the state is tourism. And I have not heard from V6AI any announcement in regards to the numbers of tourists that is coming into the state, annual basis, uh, quarterly. These are informations that I think we also need to understand to and know, and the government can see ways to improve in areas that needs improvement when we're talking about the priority of the state. And it also goes back to the community message that good chairman talked about. Used to be some information on that given by the judiciary branch, and those information are what I consider uh, medicine for the mind of the youth. Because if we do not nurture the brain, it's hard to put band-aid on the wound. We might put band-aid on the left, but the wound is on the right. So those are medicine for the mind. Uh, any more question on the radio? Go ahead.
To be specific about some of the topics that we contact, maybe we can solicit concerns on. Would be like not only the military build-up, we can talk about micro games, FSM games, our participation in the South Pacific Games, Olympics. We can talk about YAP Day. We've celebrated the 51st edition of YAP Day, but a lot of people still see YAP Day to be something that needs still has room for improvement. What are the improvements that people can think of? Things like that. These are things that we go through every year or every year. So, come on, Chair.
Come more, Vice Speaker. Speaker.
Chairman, just a comment on the fact that we need to try to criticize, not maybe there's a better word, the executive branch, the legislative branch, things that we fail to do in order for us to be able to do more or much better job. So we have laws that it's not being enforced that need to be announced. That way it's very general. It says, these are the laws. Have we give the question to the people, is it enforced or it's not enforced? You guys knows that the YAPTE committee has, when we did the appropriation, we have a certain date on those appropriation that's supposed to be reporting back. So you guys have those information, and we're going to work with the other department to make sure, and you guys know the date that the report has to come back. You have to announce that, because that's the only way we can really try our best. But when we don't talk about it, people just feel comfortable in their comfort zone. And we need to push each other, we're working together for a better service to the people. So let's try to do that. You guys need to go to the hospital sometimes and see, this person been sitting here 4 hours and the doctor is not here. He has an appointment at 1 o'clock, according to, that's what the Vice Speaker just mentioned. Supposed to be here at 1 o'clock, according to the doctor, but the doctor is not here. I think you guys have an experience in Palau with Diaz. That's how we can improve ourselves. We may, as you, Director, pointed out, when we try to introduce a new change, people tend to, but that's the only way we can improve ourselves. So let's you guys discuss about it and see how best, and we can discuss in one of the leadership meeting. Yeah, as to how best we can, because people needs to know what we are doing. because that's why we're here, to provide that service to the people. And people would criticize us and we try to do a better job. We're in a democratic government, so things should be transparent. Thank you.
Okay. Come on, Speaker. Chairman Mafak.
Kumar, these are two specific items that I know even the last term when we had a different director and for DY&CA, I brought this up to him then, and it was never really accomplished. And I want us to see if we can do that with media because the Consumer Protection Act, this law we have in the state that helps people who go to stores and use services. Most people don't know their rights under this. If they go to the store and they buy something that's substandard and it breaks down on them, or the quality of the product is not what it's the label on the product says it is, they do have recourse. They can go through the Attorney General's office to get that looked at, to where the person who sold them this can be charged and fined certain amounts of money, and you get remedy for the situation you're in. And so I've asked that this is put out in the vernacular in English. Well, you can do it in English. The law is in English, but in the different IAP's vernaculars, so that our listeners, our consumers, know what is a good time to raise an issue. Because as we can all see, we have different products in the stores that are not what it says on the label, or you buy something that looks like it can do this kind of tool, it breaks on you right away. But most APs, when that happens, you just throw it away. You don't complain about it, and that's not right. That money you earned, you should get value for it. So I'm currently working with our LC and with the Attorney General and R&D to strengthen the Consumer Protection Act, put more fines in place so that people really feel it when they're fined. And you can also do your part by getting that information out there so that people know where to go when they have issues. That's the first one. The second one is something that was brought to my attention during the recent public education campaign we had for the political status review. When I was representing the state, visiting different YAPIs communities abroad to talk about that particular measure. A lot of the places I visited, the citizens there would tell me, "You guys are acting illegally. There is no law on the Constitution that says you can do that," because they're looking at an old version, the one that was not amended after 2011. The amended version is passed, but it needs disseminating. It needs to be out in the public sphere, whether it's online. FSMlaw.org has an old version. It needs to be out there so people know the amended compact. It's not officially out there, and I think it's DY&CA who, or which is it not DY&CA for disseminating of these kinds of publications? LC, it is. Okay, so please get that out there so that people know their rights and know the changes, because it's 2025 and people were talking to you about things that happened before 2011. As we were trying to get that measure looked at and educate people, they were saying, no, this is not in the Constitution. I have a version here that has it. It was the one that I brought over that had it. They didn't have access to that. And that's unfortunate. It shouldn't be just people in government with the current information. It should be the public at large with the information. So those are two things that I could think of that as far as media is concerned, we should get it out there in the public sphere. Kumukar, Chairman.
Come on, Chairman Mafak. Director, want to respond?
Thank you, Chairman Mafal. The Consumer Act, when I came into office and I bought a vehicle with one of the stores, and when I went through that, I realized that consumer had rights. So we did that announcement a year ago, so I'll make sure that we continue to broadcast that out to the general public. But we did do that for the general public. Number two, for the regarding the publication of laws, are we responsible? Because when I came into office, I read all of my response, but I didn't see. Are we responsible for the fsmlaw.org? I'm not sure. That would be a good thing for us to know if we can, if we're the ones who're supposed to update it. We just need a webmaster with a higher salary, please.
Elsie, can you Director's question?
FSMlaw.org is updated by the FSM Supreme Court. It's not our website. You can create your own and put up our own laws and our constitution and keep it updated. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you, Elsie.
Any more on V6AI? Okay. Right.
Ang tatanda ko may kimik na ta.
Kumaro, sir, I just want to confirm what the legislature said, the speaker. So I'm just a translator for news and announcement, but I want to talk more about YAP, like the speaker said, the problem, but I've been told you cannot criticize the government. So with what you guys said, we basically can talk about anything, right? From the government to the store, expire, yeah, expired good, and they don't put the sign and all that.
Who say that we cannot criticize, not criticize, but plus
Yeah. So people like there's so many news around the island. A lot of people die in the hospital, and yeah, some people get sick from eating expired in the store, and yeah, so
water contamination.
yeah, water contamination. Not only in Colonia, like our dam is. But I was wondering if we can pretty much talk about anything, not like you said, not criticize, but so the public can know the information.
It's a government radio, so clarify.
We need to discuss with, but I think when we're on the spot. To do, we should be criticized. Because that's the only way we can improve things. By the public. But when the public doesn't know what's going on, they're in limbo. They don't know what's going on within their government. Even the tax, a lot of people don't know that when we receive the tax, it sends to the national government. The national government take a portion of it, and a portion comes back to the state. The whole budget of the state. How much it goes here, how much it goes here, and the performance. And this is what they should be doing under this budgeted amount. These are the activities in which they're supposed to be implementing. The three priority of the state, it needs to be discussed. My municipality, no garden whatsoever. It should be said. So the people in that community, and tie that to the nutrition and the food security. That's what I'm trying to say. Because if nobody criticizes us, and maybe we cut the budget, and we should be interviewed. Why you cut the budget? how much all the departments work together in order to improve one area or one of the priorities because we have a limited budget. So public work responsible for the dirt road, and when they're in one of the municipality, the agriculture should register the plot in which an individual wants to plant whatever crops. And they register that, they assist them how to come up with the compost, how, provide the seedling. They can also tell that individual as to what's the family consumption and what, if they plant more, they could sell. So we need to work together, and that's something that we need to do in order to improve our way of life. And if each one of the department is working separately, then end of the day, we're still at the minimum same old. That's what I'm trying to say. If and Diaz is doing that in Palau. He got criticized, got his car burned down, but we have to find a way to improve. Thank you. Sorry to talk a lot.
Comrade Speaker, I'm going to give the floor to Vice Speaker and then to you, LC, to address the.
So, come on, and I don't really. Huh? So, come on, Chair. You know, I think to do safely, just to be on the safe side, it's always good to ask your immediate supervisor, and if it's really necessary, it will fall on himself to decide whether or not to also ask other people, including your legal counsel, which is the AG. So that's really how one would want to go about it if he or she wants to be extra careful. Okay, but we need information, and I like that, and I appreciate you being frank and transparent, because that's what we need. That's the only way we can figure out what we need to do and how we need to do those things. So I encourage that, but just be on the cautious side. But as long as the information is constructive, and I think and not intended to instigate something terrible or to do something, but I think we need those things. I think we really need. But don't take it from me, directly from me, because you need to ask other people. But we need, and the reason why the government tells you not to do that is that's very much a government station. Diaz in Palau is by himself, so he can criticize anybody, not and not being careful of being, let's say, terminated or fired for something like that. So it's only difference. But that's why we need independent private media, because you guys know that one way to do it is you can tell us and hide your identity, but give us the information and we'll get on the air here.
Thank you, Vice Speaker. LC?
The issue, as I understand it, and please correct me if I'm wrong, is the witness is asking what are the contents that they're allowed to put out on air, like broadcast out? Is that the question? As a council, it's always good to develop standards of what should be broadcast. Have the AG look through it, establish those standards, and if there's any question in the future, consult that person, or just so the government is not liable to anything. But freedom of expression is a fundamental right in the state, and as a government, we are not allowed to restrict that kind of expression. However, those standards need to be put in place so that this question does not come up again and again over the years. Yap being the way it is, there are cultural sensitivities that need to be maintained. There are often things that go out on air that in Western world it would not be a problem, but here it is a problem. It goes against culture or our traditions. Mentioning a person's name after they've died, that's a no-no in our culture. That cannot be put out on air. To me, that's a very basic part of those standards if it should be developed in the future. Does that answer your question?
Go ahead, Vice Speaker.
Yeah, thank you. And I agree that we have in our culture, you're not supposed to mention somebody's name if the person has died. That's very true. But if the person is a legend, you can mention the name. So there's a line somewhere. You know, we know some legends of Yap, legends of Micronesia. There will be a time that we should mention those people. We should mention their name if we are proud of those people. But who decides who should be proud of? I don't know. But that's why we know some, famous warriors in the Philippines. They talk about Lapu-Lapu, and Lapu-Lapu has died thousands of years ago. But I guess that's good because he's not from here. Okay.
Kumar Vice Speaker, I think at this time the committee have exhausted all concern and question in regards to V6AI division of the department. If it's okay with everybody, all the witnesses, the director, speaker, the committee is suggesting that we conclude our oversight today because we have spent 2 hours and we still have a lot to discuss. We still have 3 more areas that we wanted to also entertain, but I know it's past lunchtime. You need to be in your respective offices. So if it's okay with everybody, we can reconvene Monday, 10 o'clock, if that's okay with you, Director, and your staff.
Yeah, we have chiefs meeting in the morning every Monday, but we can be here at 10. We can move it to Tuesday.
Is that okay, Speaker? All right, Vice, floor. So that's that is the understanding to reconvene Monday, 10 o'clock. And I thank all of you for your time and all the answers and comments that you have made in regards to our questions. And I look forward to meet you again Monday, 10 o'clock next week. And thank you, Director, and your staff. Kumara.